It's 10:56 a.m. on June 16th, 2021. In the 1980s through the early 1990s, there was discussion that is available, if you know how to find it, in official congressional records, of a proposed pipeline between Texas and California. I contend that this was not meant to be a gas and oil pipeline or a natural gas pipeline. I contend it's also connected to reports that have been that came out for about 20 years that were discussing migration trends internal to the United States, where people from Texas were moving to California and people from California were moving to Texas. And in the course of this sort of internal migration, there were substantive differences happening to the political economy of both certain parts of California as well as certain parts of Texas. I understand that in the last couple of years, there has been an effort to identify options that were set up in connection with anticipation of that potential pipeline in whatever manner it ended up developing that have been exercised. And part of this has had to do with offsets of other sorts of matters related to the energy sector, both in California and in Texas. Among the problems that have occurred is that there has been a informal and yet direct manner in which elements of the California pension system and the Texas pension system have commingled. And despite the appearances of there being some sort of cultural difference, somehow, not only have the federal legislators, but also the local legislators within the state, as well as within the local municipalities, have refused to address this at that level. They don't take this on, and yet there is a demonstrable link between matters ongoing in California and matters ongoing in Texas, and impunity connected to acts of political corruption specific to the relationship to the energy sector. I personally have been dealing with it in the manner I have been, but at this point, I want to bring attention to a situation that, like it or not, we have to deal with, which is the status of our nuclear energy sector and our relationship with currently existing nuclear facilities, as well as ones that were allegedly engaged in processes of decommissioning, and what we are going to do about the disposal of nuclear waste within the United States. I'm not going to go into any condemnations or catastrophes. I'm going to bring up some very simple points that have been presented in a very effective manner from this organization called the NEI. And the presentation is in the form of a full sheet that is presenting the information about individual power plants within different states. I have up Texas, New York, California, Florida, and Illinois. There's a specific reason why I chose these plants for consideration. There has been, for a considerable amount of time, at least the last 10 to 15 years, very significant concern regarding the process that went into the decommissioning of the Zion plant in Illinois. I am looking right now at the information concerning Illinois. One of the things you notice is that there is more than one facility by name, except for when it comes to the Clinton plant. Was Clinton paired with Zion? How long has Clinton been active while Zion has not? Every other conversation, decision, appropriation, and prosecution having to do with the energy sector starts there. Why is Clinton still active? It's a very simple question. It is 11:01 a.m. on June 16th, 2021.